What?
Okay, guys. So we'll start with this. We'll start with this theme, and the debate question is: do the benefits of surveillance outweigh the harm? So I'll turn it over to person one on this team. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Person one.哎，上来，不是你先吗？老师说你们先。是的，是的。
开始录了吗？Sir, may I start?
Wait one second. I just pulling up your speeches here.
So what about where recording us?
Student.
Ah.
So we give respect to the speaker. It is a formal assessment, it's a formal assignment, and debates are typically formal speaking arrangements. So let's give respect to the speaker. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello everyone. Hello Mr. Dupree. Many believe that personal privacy is the priority, and surveillance is unnecessary. But now we live in an age of terrorism and digital crime. Our group believes that surveillance is very important. Surveillance will bring citizens and us a significant amount of safety. Nowadays, the improvement of technology made our lives more convenient. Most of us uses our phone, computer all the time, like with internet, as we became netizens. And then we leave a lot of personal information on the internet. So for example, bank account, family information, like Facebook account and everything. Sorry. And furthermore, digital surveillance gave the government a lot of opportunities to find out people who are harming others. So like, for example, the ISIS, and maybe like Nazis. And by government monitoring on people, the government can find out people who are like giving dangers to the community by their digital footprint. On the other hand, surveillance cameras are also something that gave citizens, government, and police a big advantage. With those surveillance cameras, when accidents happen, so like car crash, violence, thief, when these happens, we can have proof that who is on the wrong side and who is on the right side. Therefore, we think that government surveillance is necessary for all of us. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, before we last year, are you guys person one and two? Good. So we'll go to person two, so we'll continue with 4K. And then we'll go person two. Okay. And then after that, we'll go ahead. No.
Good morning, Mr. Dupree. Well, we as a team, we truly believe that security is the most important, it's more important than individual privacy. Even though some dissidents may argue that security cameras in public areas are a big threat to privacy. I intend to explain you how many reasons, I want to explain you some reasons of why surveillance cameras can have more advantages than you can imagine. Well, since surveillance cameras have been in operation, there has been a remarkable reduction in thefts caused by malicious people. But well, why this happens? Well, people are afraid to commit crimes because they know they are being watched, often changing their minds at the last moment. Well, compared to the world from 100 years ago, it's much easier to catch a thief today because of that. Well, because of electronic surveillance. But it is important to note that the facial recognition software helps to identify criminals in a fast and efficient way. It can identify people by size, shape, skin color, gender, approximate age, and other demographic information. In conclusion, the evidence is clear. Surveillance cameras with the help of facial recognition software are the most appropriate security measure to the prevention of future crimes. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordi. Can we continue, Johnston?
Yeah. Can I start? As we're the citizens of the country, the citizens of the country should protect us, but now it began to hurt us. The first massive surveillance action was started after World War. There were three plans had started during that time. The first one is called Black Box, which is supported by the US government. The second one is called Serial Plan, and which is allowed US government to cooperate with the private company and get the users' private information, help them to better snoop on the citizens. The third one is called Five Eyes, which is something like Big Brother made up with 5 countries: UK, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and American. In fact, I think sometimes it is reasonable to let our country to keep some of our privacy, but it is ridiculous to let other country to keep our privacy. Later on, the action become worse. Before, they have to cooperate with the company. The meaning of cooperate is they have to ask permission to get users' information. But right now, they can just easily hack into the company and get information without permission. Could you imagine that? The bill you paid by the credit card, the bank you put the money on, the transportation you take, the place you went, all written into a book. At any time anyone wants to read, they just take it out. Finally, I just want to say, I don't want my life just to be a book. Thank you.
Thanks, John. So you were doing person 1 and 2, right? You were doing person 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So I would like to turn it over to Mohammed's team on the left for 1 minute or 2 minutes to ask questions to this team, and then we'll reverse the process. Okay? So I open it up to anybody.
Mark has a question.
No.
You guys want to chat for 30 seconds? Okay, Mohammed, go ahead.
Okay, so I want to ask a question from John. Like, is the privacy more important than your life?
What do you mean for private?
Okay.
Privacy.
So let's say that like your life like is private and you have a lot of privacy, but you're not alive. You're in war and you don't have any security. So is it more important?
So that's why I said it is reasonable to let our country to keep some of our privacy, but it's ridiculous to let other countries keep our privacy.
But this what you said is not doesn't apply to the world we're living today. No one's in war today. So World War II, it's true.
There is a huge war going in Middle East right now, and there's a huge cyber crimes and cyber war is going on all over the world.
And are one of us here anything related to this war? No.
People can get from online life, they can get scammed, and there's like a high chance of you getting like your information stolen online.
What does this
Wherever you are. Cyber war.
So the people in war, you think they'll try to steal us?
They start to steal any kind of
If they're in
information.
war, they won't even care about stealing other people. They'll try to get
No,
their
they
lives done and
start to
that's
steal
the war.
information from other people so they can use it against them.
Can you provide an example from your personal life when government harmed your privacy?
Did you know the plan called the Freedom Plan, which is did by the US government?
No, I'm actually asking about your personal life.
The personal life.
Yeah. Do you have any examples?
Your personal experience.
Yes. For example, when I searched the stuff I wanted to buy in the Amazon, and next moment it came out in the my WeChat stuff like that. And these two companies connect together. When I sign up for the Amazon company, they said they will keep our information without leaking. But the next minute, they share with the WeChat company.
But how were you personally harmed by these actions?
They leak our information. I don't want them to see our
But
information.
what was the consequence?
Oh, okay. Another example is like this. Last time I went to the, I bought the stuff. I can have to bought this something like from Amazon, and the next minute another company just called me directly, says, "Do you want to buy another stuff like that?" I said no. I said, "Where do you get the information?" They didn't say. They just hand off. And it's making annoying for me because a lot of companies like that, they just calling me, keep calling me. I hate it. Yeah.
But annoyment is not a harm.
Yes,
Okay, but we don't know what
It's
harm
mental.
is. That's what we know. Imagine what the kids
Yes,
do.
psychologically.
Did this
And
actually?
physically.
Did this?
But these companies, they store information just to make you more secure.
They store our information and make money.
Everyone makes
Because-
money our life.
No, they make money with the legal way, not the illegal.
They are not selling your information to anyone.
Let's turn it over to John's team. We've got 2 minutes to ask. Anyone to ask a question? Anyone who knows it could be directed at an individual or directed at the team?
Do you, as you said, do you actually think that the government just surveillance people like who are suspects, or do you think they surveillance everyone?
I think the government, they only surveillance on people who are like suspected.
Are you sure?
Yes. Like in my country, I know this is true.
I'm talking about general.
The government will not have the time and effort to surveillance on citizens.
How do you know that?
Because there's 300 million people on one country and like 10, maybe maximum 1 million people working on the government. They cannot check everyone's account.
No, you can't.
What do you mean leaked?
Leak
Leak to where?
No, another people. What if someone hacks the IP? What if someone can get that information, take up advantage of you? Because, like, when you're doing something in your cell phone, it's your own privacy. Okay, like, other people shouldn't be looking out.
the topic.
We're not changing the topic.
We are
We're not, we're asking the question.
Yes, surveillance is like, you guys are saying government is putting surveillance on every single citizen, and we said it's not possible.
They're just asking the question.
They're saying that every single citizen, because not every single citizen has even access to the internet. There
Okay.
are 4 people, for example, in my country that have never seen a cell phone in his life.
But if we talk about netizens, it means that these people have access, so we don't talk about people.
Okay, but I'm talking. You think that the government surveillance everybody or just suspect people? Because don't you think it's unfair if the government surveillance who is not a
But they
terrorist?
have to check all the options in order to find the right person who will commit the crime.
How would they do that? How would they know who to search?
They're gonna search
You
everyone.
can look at the
They search everyone to make us feel safe.
Which is not fair, don't you think? Do you like when a friend comes to you and see what you're doing on the cell phone? I'm sure that you don't like that. Imagine if your government, like surveillance, spy on you, people that you don't even know, like have access to your bank account, your credit card, your personal information, how many siblings
Like
you
in the
have.
case with a friend, your friend can protect you from terrorists. Government wants you to be secure, wants you to be safe.
Okay, but for example, the United States, they surveillance not even their citizens, but citizens from the whole world, from other countries too.
Where did you get this information from?
Most terrorist attacks, how can you explain this?
Okay, can you show me the information? Can you show me the source?
Due to the question, let them respond.
Now, the Washington Post, they came out
article.
from the Washington Post that the NSA, the National Security Agency from the United States, is spying not only their citizens, but they are collecting billions of records a day to track the location of mobile phone users around the world.
I don't think so. I don't think they have access because I remember.
Okay, so
Security said Apple did not give him that access. Okay?
But this is the United States Security Agency, it's not a company.
Okay, Apple didn't got the access, but it still got into the phone.
What?
So in
okay, so let's say
That's
that
illegal.
if this
That's
phone
illegal.
Okay, they did it.
USA government doesn't have access to Apple phones.
He said Apple, they couldn't watch the cell phone because Apple didn't want to open it.
Okay, guys.
But they still open it.
They cannot watch it without Apple's like given permission to check.
But did they open it? Yes or no?
We're
I mean, they know what's inside.
How can we
they
know
did,
that?
but it was
Because they
it
said
was
that,
a
but they
terrorist's
said
phone. Maybe in this phone, like the owner of that phone was a terrorist, and so like from finding that phone, maybe like 2 more terrorist attacks stopped by U.S. government.
I can stop you guys there. If you have, thank you for your questions. If you haven't had a chance to ask a question, think about something you might want to ask. If you didn't get a chance to finish your thought, write it down so you remember. So we'll do questions again after persons 3 and 4. So let's continue with Mark.
So our group thinks that security is more important than privacy. To be more specific, Las Vegas event best prove our situations. And this event occurred on the night of October 1st, 2017. And there was a gunman, and he opened fire on a crowded road. And then man shot over 1,100 rounds from his suit on 32nd floor. And he killed 58 people, and there were 851 people got injured as well. So imagine if you were in that, imagine if you were standing here and with your friend or children, and you are dodging the bullets. What will you think about it? Do you care about the privacy anymore? So we can see that there's nothing to do with privacy, because privacy cannot prevent this event occurred. And the only way to protect those citizens is to improve their personal security and the surveillance. And also, like on the other hand, for somehow people have to give up their privacy to improve their security, such as setting up the camera or to setting up camera in your own house, and to make sure that you to make sure that your house is fine, like when you are not in your own house, and if there is a thief comes into your house, and you can know his outward, and you can go find him in the police station. So that's the way to improve your security. Thank you.
So may I use my laptop to picture picture?
Çalıştın değil mi? Çalıştın. Ha. Muhammed like them.
Okay, so first I wanted to start with social
Yes, we put it
pictures to you guys to help you to understand my sentences more. So first, these pictures are from Philistine in 2016. So most of these children doesn't have any IDs, they don't have any phones, or no one knows them because they lost their parents, they lost their friends, so no one knows them. So we can say that they have privacy enough, as you said, because none of the governments know who they are, and no one knows who they are. So if they even if they kill somebody, no one is gonna find them, because no one knows their fingerprint and no one knows their name. And do you think that these children are happy? No, they are not. They are living in the war. But they have privacy. They have full privacy, but they are living in war. They are not happy. So from these pictures, we can see that privacy is not enough for us. We need security. If we have 100% privacy, but we are dead, so what we need privacy for? It's the same as saying that someone is gonna die tomorrow, but he's super rich. So what is this money for? It's for nothing. So security without privacy, privacy without security is useless. So as one of the newspapers, 25% of people said they need to cancel snooping on people, but 75% of these people said that they need to use it. And from snooping people, we can find another crimes, and we can stop the crime before happening. So same that they happened with that phone, which the Apple didn't open it. Maybe if the government opens it even 5 days earlier, they could stop one of the terrorist attacks in other countries or another cities or this. And also, I wanted to say we are tourists even here. We are studying here, and other countries should have information about us also. So if we commit crime here, so they can find us. So every country should think about their privacy, and because of that, snooping on people for security is okay. And also, the government are not just saying that I want to know what people is doing, because they don't want our information. What they're gonna do with our information? They're gonna keep it secret. So sometimes, yes, some people can leak information, but in general, all of the government snooping is just for our security. Thank you.
Nasıldı? Güzel.
Super.
What? We have 5 people in our group, they have 7.
8.
We have 8.
8, so they have
Can I start, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm the number 3. My team still believes that privacy is more important than security, because being watched without your knowledge is taking away your total freedom and your privacy. Former intelligence worker Aaron Soden had to flee his own country because he leaked some information about how the US people were being watched and how the government can tap your cell phone, email, or any app that you're using. So he had to flee his own country because he wasn't safe there. How would you feel if you know every time you open your cell phone, like someone else is looking at you? Because you guys said, okay, the government should watch people that are terrorists, but the government, how is the government gonna know who's a terrorist if they don't watch everyone? If I text you tomorrow, hey, I'm gonna kill Pedro, okay, and the government is watching, like, they need to, like, they have to do something because they don't know if I'm just playing or it's true. So you're telling us that, like, all the messages that people send every day that are playing, the government has to be on top of us? That's like our own privacy. Or another example, if we do something, if we have something like personal in our cell phones, or we send something personal to another people, like, how would you feel if you know the government can have that, and you know how many times people can hack the IP addresses or the web searches to see what goes through there? So if I have something personal and I send it, and someone else can get access to that, they have leverage on me and they can do everything they want. They can blackmail me, they can extortion me because they have something on me that it's personal. So if you can't even trust your own government because they're watching you, like who can you trust? How would you feel safe if you can't trust your own government? We're not saying that security is not important. Okay, have more cameras on the street, on like outside, but like on your cell phone, in your own privacy, looking at your messages, that's no life. Like being watched like that, we don't believe it's right. Thank you.
No, you do. Thank you.
So you're Alex?
So this is what Alex wrote for the privacy team. Every citizen has a right to privacy. This means that you have the right to determine what information is collected about you and how it's used. For example, the European Union's Charter of Fundamental Rights recognizes the right to data protection and the right to privacy as a fundamental human right. Privacy is also a commodity. So we should be free to make decisions about sharing our personal information without being scared of surveillance by others. A lot of netizens want to share their information because they want goods or services from them. For example, some applications want to know your localization. During making an email account, the website asks you about your personal information. We give them this because we need their services, but we don't know that they might make a conspiracy to investigate us or not. They can leak our personal data from their benefit. Remember what Mr. Dupree said, that if the service is free, we are not the consumer, we are the product. We also live in a world where the government is invading our privacy in exchange for increased security to fight terrorism and other potential cyber threats. Why does the government not protect our privacy? For most people, privacy is so important because it's also our safety. The ideas of the state to protect its citizens is not always effective. There is a thin line between privacy and national security. The government must constantly assess its need to attack the privacy of citizens in line with the possible contribution of information to a safer country, while citizens with citizens who have full privacy rights. It's long. When we cross the home's door, when we cross our house's door, our private space, we want to feel free and comfortable, of course. If a person or organization interferes with this expectation of privacy, there may be a legal liability. We may be able to sue that person in court for invasion under privacy, at least in the United States. There are other expectations of privacy, such as private conversations between two individuals. No one has a right to that information. Privacy is also about respecting others. If a person has a reason to keep something private, it is rude to ignore that person's wishes without a compelling reason to do so. Privacy is also trust. In relationships, like personal relationships, romantic relationships, professional relationships, governmental relationships, or commercial relationships, we depend on trusting the other person. In professional relationships, such as our relationships with doctors and lawyers, this trust is absolutely key in keeping honesty in our relationship. We also want to feel control over our life, our own life. With the ability to have say in how our data is used, we can protect ourselves. One of the advantages of freedom is having autonomy, control over our lives, and we can't have that if so many important decisions about us are being made in secret without our participation. Finally, we must have freedom of thought and speech if we want to live in a free society. We cannot have this with surveillance. Privacy is key to our freedom of beliefs, my freedom to believe something different from my government or other citizens in my country, to believe a different religion than people who are the majority. Privacy makes us more confident to show our point of view without explaining to others why we think like that. In conclusion, we must protect our privacy because it's incredibly important, not just for privacy, but also for our safety as citizens in our countries.
Sir, question. We have a great state what person 4's job. It's not to read. Person 4 is to list the data, right?
She's not here.
Yes.
Not even here, bro.
Yes, I know, but it's still, she did a lot of job that other people should do. And it's not a 2 minute speech. It's too long.
Okay, I can write a lot of things down and say half of it. Maybe she got all of that.
And remember, this is the draft. This is just a draft. She writes down sheet and she's going to see. Because she put here, so we read it all of it. Maybe what she's.
Without worrying too much about the structure of things, I did maybe suggest that Juju and Alex could switch based on their speeches. But without worrying too much about that, what about the ideas that were presented? So let's focus on that. So I'll give 2 minutes to
1 minute.
Mohammed's team to pose questions and let the other team respond. Okay, so you can go ahead and start. I'm going to switch names.
Nacho previously.
Remember, there's several people who haven't had a chance to ask a question like David, so go ahead, David.
Nacho previously made the statement that surveillance is taking away our freedom. However, you haven't realized the fact that we are also being controlled under laws. This is also like a limit of our freedom. All freedom on the world has a limit, and if you stay within the limit, you're free.
Yes.
People are all overwhelmed with the fact that the government is ripping away the privacy. However, they haven't realized the fact that they're being controlled in other ways.
Do you want to respond to that?
No, we understand that, but it's like we're telling you, okay, privacy also has like a limit, you know? Like, or being watched, like, there should be a point where you should have your own personal privacy. Like, if I tell you right now that LAS is gonna put a camera on your room, and only LAS is gonna watch that tape, how would you feel about that?
Secure.
You're secure.
Secure.
We stated it for many times. We also agree that surveillance should be controlled, in a little amount, the right amount. And my question is, you says Snowden is having his his basically threatened to have to get out from his own country, but actually what he did is treason. He's openly against the government, and the government fight back on him.
It's not treason because it just showed people that they spy on that.
He just
It's
provided
not treason. He provided the truth.
That's
It's treason if he says the truth, according to you. He said that it's treason. It's not treason telling the truth.
Here's him, I'm me.
Okay, but we
So you were saying that government were acting in malicious way to us, but if you were a government, which solution would you propose instead of monitoring personal information? If you were a government, which solution would you propose instead of monitoring personal information?
Like,
Which alternative would you propose?
another question.
She's not gonna answer.
Is there answer?
Can you answer that question? Yes. What was the alternative to surveillance for security?
Can I ask a question?
If you have no answer, how can you say that monitoring personal information is not the
I
right
just
way?
said something.
Okay, guys, I gotta turn over to the other team. So go ahead. John, Steve, you have 2 minutes.
Can I ask?
Remember, there's a couple people. Okay. So there's a couple people haven't had a chance to ask. So.
As Mark said, the surveillance help us to stop the terrorist action. How would you explain those events happening in Las Vegas? If they have enough evidence or information to stop this one, why they didn't stop it?
This guy did the massacre by himself, alone, and he didn't use any online information. He went to his home, to buy and take more guns, come back with
So what is
luggages. He didn't use any phone to text anyone, oh, I'm gonna kill 60 people this weekend. No.
So what is still the point of surveillance if they cannot spy on?
Say because not every attack is individual attack. Terrorist attacks doing like 100,000 people in one terrorist group. Like
This
you think
example-
ISIS is one people. No, there's like 100,000 people go all around the world killing people.
Remember, right after World War I, there's no internet, there's no phone stuff like that, but they already start sweeping in America. They can snowbomb people. They can spy on.
What's snowball?
Sweepland, black box, zero plan, fire ice. They all can help him to surveillance.
I don't know. I don't understand. Can you sit all your?
John, as the time goes on, the technology is getting better also. So it's not just the government's technology that it's improving, it's also terrorist technology that what is improving. So before there were no any phones, which even police can't like look at it and find it. But now there is a phone that even like police can't find it. So the government's technology should improve also to find them. And as Burak said, terrorists are not just one person going and killing people, it's thousands of people. And they're communicating with each other. And how they're communicating? With technology.
Yeah. So I can ask, as you said, thousands of people, is that possible? No one's using the phone.
Yeah, no. We said
No.
we said they're communicating over the phone. So government.
No, I'm talking about.
Okay, let your
Wait.
Bırak sen.
John?
Okay, go.
Because they communicate together. So, and thousands of people, Muhammad said, thousands of people communicate together, and there's no possible they don't use the phone.
Yes.
So, how
When
can
they're
they do
using the
surveillance
phone,
on people?
We need
From
surveillance
Sunni,
to
the
understand that
government-
Sorry,
terrorism.
that makes sense.
The
Yes,
government-
how they communicate with them.
Terrorists don't use phones to communicate. each other.
Terrorists use.
What they are using the
Do you think
They
they?
use the PS4.
Do you think they send?
They use the PS4 to communicate. Check it.
Do you
Okay,
think
from
they
PS4,
send pigeons
it's
to each other?
untraceable. It's untraceable.
From Belgium to Syria. Yeah, of course.
Answer session before we finish up. So think about the question. I'd love to hear from Mark and our teams before So let's continue. I believe we'll David's for some
They use phone to call.
Bırak düşünsene o terörist telegrafçı.
May I start now? Although there are benefits that personal privacy can bring, however, people are all trapped in their own perspectives. On the surface, it seems like the government is snooping on its citizens, and people are all overwhelmed by the fact that the government is ripping away their privacy. However, if we take a closer look at the positive side, the benefit definitely outweighs the harms. Families suffer from losing members from terrorist attacks, and some children becomes orphans, and some parents loses their beloved child due to these malicious attacks. According to the Guardian News, 9 terrorist attacks were stopped in the UK last year. And if we take a look at the average death rate of a terrorist attack, it's approximately around 50 deaths. Therefore, it is fair to make the statement that their surveillance helped 50 families preventing from being separated. So, if we logically think about this problem, the statement that completely elimination of surveillance is not convincing. Thank you.
Sir.
Hadi sıç ağzına.
Çok şey yok ki.
Top tüfekle top.
Hi guys, I'm Mr. Good morning. More than 128 billion worth of goods were stolen from stores worldwide in 2014. And this is only stores, like not your private information. Many of those crimes have been solved because of surveillance records. People get caught because of the cameras all around the stores and the streets. When the cameras are used, there is a huge amount of reduction in crime rate of any country, in any country. People keep stealing every year more and more, and this leads our society to be scared and unsafe. Furthermore, cybercrime is a new type of crime, but it costs around $600 billion a year, and this is raising every year like billions. People all around the world are facing the risk of getting scammed, and lots of families and individuals are already have been scammed because there's not enough surveillance at online life of people. So governments need to check and do more surveillance of people's online life. So everything's happening online around this time.
Okay, guys, let's move on to personal privacy.
Do you know that millions of people are surveilled every day?
Yes.
Whether if it's by government security cameras or even through your personal gadgets. We live in a globalized world where we easily have access to the internet. Therefore, we need to be really careful with bad intention netizens, such as hackers and rogues. I'm sure that nobody here would like to be snooped by someone. Therefore, we need privacy. Imagine if LAS was to spy on you 24/7. They will know your location, who you were talking to, where you've been, what you're doing, and all this sort of things. With this, you should resolve all your freedom. Do you really want this? In the same way that governments use the argument that they surveillance their citizens to protect them from terrorist attacks and possible threats, our school could argue that they will watch us to prevent conflicts between students, for example, bullying and discrimination. But we can clearly see that things don't work this way. We live in a country that, according to the Telegraph from the UK, it currently occupies the 8th position of the top 20 safest countries in the world. Although, in the same time, it's in the country's law that all citizens must have the right of privacy. How can you explain this? On the other hand, the US, they are one of the countries that most surveillance not only their citizens but from other countries too. And according to the Washington Post, the NSA is collecting billions of records a day to track the location of mobile phone users around the world. What is interesting is that they still have frequent terrorist attacks and threats. The population don't feel safe. Therefore, we believe that there's no relation between surveillance and breaking people's privacy to protect them. In most cases, it will just result in an abuse of power by the authorities. Thank you.
Measures match.
Can I start, sir?
Focus on the speaker.
So, according to the 1948 Declaration of Human Rights, it's saying that no one should be subjected to random interference with their privacy, family, home, or correspondence. So, like we can see, that privacy is an important human right, and it should not be violated because it's wrong on political levels and also it's wrong on moral levels. And a lot of you, and privacy should be something that you should respect because I don't really think that none of you would like to be snooped around by other stuff. And a lot of you said, for example, Mohammed, Henry, Mark, stated that it would happen, Mohammed, that it would, if we got them 5 days earlier, the attack wouldn't happen. Or if we could prevent that, they never proved its efficiency. And the NSA is scientifically proved that the NSA's method is ineffective and it doesn't really work. And also, as Henry said, that they don't snoop around on other people, maybe on his country, as he said, but I don't think that is true. But if he says, I'll have to respect that. But it's on the US, there's a fact that it went out even on all the news, that a guy was watching 9 girls, he was doing surveillance and he was watching 9 girls at the same time, and they were seeing them naked and snooping around their house and all of this stuff. Also, Hunky, he gave an example that I saw even that example that it prevented 9 terrorist attacks in the UK last year, and that's not true what he said. The source said that an MI5 boss called Andrew Parker, saying that 5 attacks got through them. They saw that it happened, but 5 attacks got through, and 4 attacks didn't happen. So basically, they didn't, on that case, they didn't save anything or they didn't prevent anything. They saw that 9 attacks came and 5 attacks got through. And also everybody says about surveillance that they need to check and to stop and to see. But I really think that what should be done is not that, because the world leaders, they should check on people and check the real reason. Why are they becoming terrorists? Why are they doing that? Why are they going to that side instead of trying to snoop around, spending a lot of money from the taxes we pay, and investing in something that maybe one time in a lifetime it will work, because it's already proven. Like, it's not me saying, or it's not my group saying, it's proven. You can check on all the sources on The Guardian, you can check on The Telegraph, you can check on multiple different newspapers, and it's proven that the NSA method is ineffective. Also, as I was saying, they should give more importance to issues that on long term it will be much better, such as cancer, such as drunk driving, that kills much more people than terrorism and trying to surveillance on people and maybe get 1 attack or 2 that you're not even sure that it's gonna work. So also that I was saying that the world leaders should be, like, the people should know what makes them decide to become terrorists or to join like an opposition group, because they believe maybe that the methods of the government are wrong or what the government does are wrong. So I think we should change that and see how and why they become, instead of just trying to snoop around a lot of people and going around their surveillance when it's something that the law of 1948 Declaration of Human Rights said that everyone should have the right of privacy. That's it.
Group up with your team for 1 minute and just think of some final questions you might like to ask. If you haven't had a chance to ask those questions, maybe you can do that. So 1 minute with your team, think of some final questions you want to ask. It's halfway through.
Okay, so we are ready.
We're not.
We are the one asking the question.
Wait, did you ask a question already?
No, you don't mark it as us.
Okay, we'll go to Mark first. Let's go to Mohammed.
You
I'll
will
give you a couple of minutes to ask questions.
No, after
And let us respond, okay? 2 minutes. Go ahead.
So by giving up privacy, you can save money people who are under a possible danger of terrorist attack. And
Can you repeat, please?
by giving up the privacy,
No, more. Please, more.
what?
No, I'm talking to Mario.
I'm not. By giving up privacy, you can save money. You can save many people who are under a possible danger of terrorist attack and don't the benefit overweight the harm.
Are you kidding me? We just learned from this
All monopoly
5 times. We're not understanding.
So let me ask again. By giving up privacy, you can save many people who are under a possible danger of terrorist attack. Don't you think that benefits overweigh harms in this situation?
First of all, that's not true. I don't think you guys are listening to all that we said for the last 30 minutes, that the NSA methods is scientifically proven, and we have sources that we can show that it's
Can
proven.
you directly answer the question?
It's not effective. You don't see that it's not effective. The NSA is not effective. What they do is not effective. And if you want to prevent terrorism, why don't you go directly to the source and discover why are they becoming terrorists? Why are that stuff happening to them? And instead of investing money for something that's proven that it's not going to work and it's proven that it's not an effective method, and people use it for the wrong terms, such as snooping on women and naked women. I don't think you're like a 67-year-old guy snooping around you and seeing the stuff you do, because I don't think it's moral and political correctly to do this. And it's proven, as we told you many times, that it's not effective, this method. And also, go straight to the source and see why they're becoming terrorists. And instead of spending so much money on this, spend money on the taxes that we pay, our parents pay in this case, to go to cancer, to drunk driving, to stuff that in the long term is going to be much more important than a surveillance thing.
Maybe government does this thing because there's no label of terrorist on your personal information, so they need to check everyone to see who's a terrorist.
And it doesn't work.
And you
Since Muhammad said, if we prevented 5 days later, since Mark told it didn't prevent, since Hanky Chen gave us a wrong information saying that it prevented 9 attacks, and when it didn't prevent, it saw that they had 9 attacks, 5 attacks went through and 4 attacks didn't happen. The terrorists didn't know.
Okay, you give us the wrong information as well. You said driving alcoholic kills more than terrorism. You said driving alcoholic car kills more people than terrorism. Drunk driving is killing more people than.
I never said that. I
You
said
just
we should
said.
give more importance
You just
to drunk.
said.
I said we should give more importance to drunk driving than and.
No, you said that drunk driving kills more people than terrorism.
Listen.
No, terrorism kills only 500,000 people in Syria.
And terrorism, how many they kill?
No, 500,000 people only in Syria last year.
And also, if it's not working like to snooping on people, so why we put cameras in our shops? Why we put cameras in our
Imagine today, there's no cameras
Public
in the
places
shop.
is totally different. It's not privacy. Privacy and public, there's a really big difference on one of them.
Yeah,
There's a public
you
place.
can go in and steal something and
Yes, and then that's not level. That's
That's
not
not
your
your
privacy.
It's not the same with the privacy.
It's
If you
not
steal
the same.
someone,
I'd like to turn it over to John's team. You have 2 minutes to pose questions. Let them respond. Okay, go ahead.
I would like to direct this question more. As you saw, this a picture
of the children.
Yes.
And as Jorge said, today we have technology to identify like people facial recognition, and they have like a picture of them, so they can easily know who they are. Therefore, they like how.
Okay, so when you want to identify someone, when like they need to know your name, they need to have your fingerprint. They like if no one knows your fingerprint and you kill somebody, how they're gonna find you? They're gonna find fingerprint. They're gonna put it in the system. Nothing.
But all of a
Facial
sudden,
recognition is
people
2018.
Okay, you can do with the face, and this is for the people who already have information
Like criminal.
in government. Like it's criminology. Like government knows you, knows your name, know your face, fingerprint. So if you put to the system, it will show up. But if no one knows your name, if no one knows your fingerprint, if just someone see your face, they're not gonna find you. How they're gonna find you?
Because
but
since
they met them, they even took a picture of them.
Okay, they met.
How
Okay,
do you
but-
know that they don't have the fingerprint?
There's millions of people
The
like
magazine is not gonna take a fingerprint of children. You're not gonna go to see this children and
there is
find
millions of people like this. Those are not the only 5 kids in Pakistan suffers or India. There's millions of people like this.
What's your name?
Okay, it takes weeks to find criminals in USA which has like perfect technology. In India, Pakistan, they don't have technology like USA. They cannot find people that has nothing online. They never use it. You think like you're gonna see a guy? There's no information about him anywhere. They're not gonna find him easily. They need to go check every place. They cannot search Google or put information to find it.
He said that you can.
Don't talk ear to ear, it's rude.
We can.
But he said that ones are already registered in the government.
Not countries without netizens. We're talking about the netizens.
But no, there is role
Abi indir
is
şunu.
in general.
İndir çekil bakayım.
You want also
Güzel
you want to specifically talk about only one country.
What? Say it again. No, we are asking the question.
Any last comments or questions before we move on?
Okay, so I want to explain one more time. Sorry.
Okay, I got some.
Yeah, you need to explain.
Ask another question.
Let's move on. It seems like it's
Wait, John has one more question.
Yeah. Let's go.
Go.
Maria, as you asked me before, you said, what did the privacy bring benefits to me? I'll ask you, what did the surveillance bring benefits to you? That's yours.
He's still alive. She's still alive. She's alive.
So, I don't need the surveillance that's still alive.
What?
If I don't need the surveillance, people can still alive.
Yeah,
Just you selling the
Okay.
constant or stuff like that.
1 second. You live in Switzerland and you have enough money. Maybe this is because you're safe.
Yeah.
You live in one of the most safe school in the world. You live in Switzerland, which have full security. Because of that, you didn't die yet.
Okay,
if you
not
go and
me,
live in
for
Afghanistan
the kids
with
in the
$10 per
It's
day,
still alive.
you will see what's going to happen.
Can I answer your question? I have a real situation from my life. When I was 14, and random guy, no, it's real. Random guy was calling me every night and saying or I'm gonna kill your friends, your family, all this stuff. And then my parents went to a company who can check their email, who can check the phone, and they found the guy. So I'm still alive. That's how security works.
If it didn't happen, maybe she was in different world right now.
I think we have to move on, guys.
No, sir, please.
So
Doluyorum ama.
this is fun. Let's go.
See if there's a few minutes at the end.
So let's continue. I have some sentence in my deep of my heart that I need to say.
Okay, we'll get to the whole last show, okay?
Buna kodum çocuğu.
Okay, so you're saying that the government should even check our phones and our emails and etc. Okay, I'm telling you, imagine that LAS is a country, okay? So Mr. Phone can see everything we text. So every time we put every time we text alcohol, smoking, or something like that, he can see it. Wait, he can see it. No, I'm telling you, you're saying that the government should be able to keep tabs on you, so they can see everything, okay? I'm not saying, right now I'm not saying killing or something like that, I'm saying it right now. So every time we text alcohol, party, smoking or something like that, let's say Mr. Foreman can see that, so he has the right to come to us and say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that because you're in school, you're doing that, and he can kick us out. Yes. Because
Isn't that right?
This is what should
By the
happen.
school rule, by the school rule, we're not
we're not allowed to drink, we're not allowed to smoke.
Okay, and if you go to
This cold.
Guys, oh, your friend is smoking. Please shut up.
How old are you?
16.
Okay, if you go to Geneva and you drink hard alcohol, and you say to someone, "Oh, I did a shot of vodka," he has a proof that you were drinking.
Well,
and you were breaking.
school rule, we're not allowed to drink.
You're breaking the Switzerland rule. And he can go to the police and say this kid was drinking hard alcohol.
Okay, this is the
Are you allowed to
security.
give up that?
Maybe he can drink and go and kill somebody. So this is what we mean. Like, this is the
Drunk people
security.
has like more higher.
Drunk drive, killing people.
Last time I hit five.
Have you ever drank before? So what's the proof for this? What's the point of the
Guys,
for myself if I broke the rule? If I did something wrong, I did something
Nachos, do you actually believe that Mr. Famon doesn't know us going to Geneva in the weekend?
I know that he does.
They know everything, but we are checked out. We are
I know that he does.
we are under.
You're going to Geneva, but he doesn't know what you're drinking.
No, do you think he's in school for 20 years? He knows everything.
Okay,
Like
yeah, but it doesn't have
Java post our pictures. Java post our pictures. What do you mean with the information? They post our pictures online.
It's an interesting analogy to LAS as a country. You can explore that idea after the debate. But let's finish it.
Privacy. They're not asking because they're not asking you if you agree or not to post the picture.
Yeah, but we go to in the
Bro, after school back
we go to their like place. They don't need us to. We go
Three people have to give a speech, okay? I want to make sure they have time. Okay. Artelius, Maria, and
Artelis. Çok kalıyorsun ya adamı.
Oyna kolları yetişkin geldi. Var ya. Hayır.
Sus lan.
Okay, now on person 7, my job is to summarize. On person 7, my job is to summarize what person 2 said. We believe that a certain amount of surveillance from government is beneficial to citizens' life. Even though we fully embrace the point the dissidents. Yes, surveillance can be harm to privacy. However, the benefits outweigh the flaws. For example, the use of surveillance camera can cause a significant amount of reduction in stealing because people know they're under watch and it is really hard to elude police. And moreover, people are less likely to commit crime because of the facial recognition system. People can be recognized by all kinds of features like size, hair features, age, approximate age, gender, all those stuff. In a nutshell, like we believe the right amount of surveillance is beneficial to citizens' life because by a reduction of the stealing rate and making crime a much harder and less affordable choice. This person 7. Now, since we have 2 person 8, I'll be fast and quickly finish it. My job is to take moral high ground and trying to convince you guys. Okay. No matter what you said, you're wrong. People know nothing knows you guys are wrong. You guys are evil. First of all, good and kind people will not be scared by little amount of surveillance. Only the people have problem does. This is so obvious that I don't even want to talk about it. Because the government has no point to leak out individual privacy to malicious people. That your privacy will be safe as they should be. If you're afraid of the government monitoring you just a little bit, you could be a potential criminal. I mean, what do you have to hide? And moreover,
or anything, something like that.
Moreover, people need surveillance because safety always comes first. Life safety, in other words, the right to live. It's in all kinds of civilized countries' law, legal system. No one is allowed to hurt anyone. Not in Turkey, not in China, not in Taiwan, Iran, Brazil, anywhere. You're not allowed to hurt anybody. It is even in the very first Declaration of Independence. Life, liberty, and privacy of happiness are listed there. It is very few rights that people pursued ahead of anything else. People want to be safe.
And they want to ask
I mean, I know it's in Constitution of China and even in the Constitution of Korea, which is the most depressing place in the whole world. Life safety is a fundamental of everything. One needs to be alive to have their beliefs. One needs to be alive to have their freedom of speech. One needs to be alive to care about their loved ones. And one needs to be alive to stand here making fun of whether surveillance is more important than privacy. If you lose your freedom living, I can now have a pistol pointing at your gun and say, "Tell me your fucking bank account." If you lose your if you still think privacy is more important, the only thing that I can do for you is give you a worthless little Swiss knife, which I lost yesterday. I'm sorry. And so you can defend yourself. Isn't it better to be alive?
Woo!
My ears.
You fraction.
The 21st century is known as a century of high technologies, gadgets, and progress. But is it actually worth it, having all these toys giving up our personal information? Indeed, we can't deny the fact that technological inventions have changed our lives in a better way. But it also forced us to make a choice: surveillance or privacy. When it comes to safety, we should think globally, giving up our privacy for the common good of humankind. Interpower grows every day by the clicks, so does the criminality. The government has no need to leak your personal information, such as text messages with your girlfriend, or shopping purchases in Gucci store, or bank account of your parents. Digital surveillance was created for good intentions, for protecting the world's population. Do we actually lose a lot by sacrificing our privacy? I bet your answer will be no, after seeing innocent victims of numerous malicious acts and terrorist attacks. By sacrificing our privacy, we can prevent many families from loss of their beloved people. Are you still not sure? Just put yourself in this place, and the question about privacy is not an issue anymore.
Go on,
Let's go on to our next to finish this off.
Are things after school? Like,
What back?
fighting. Privacy or security?
Okay, I'm number 7. And so to summarize, still in my group we think that security is not over privacy. And as John and Mr. Dupree said with Alex's speech, surveying people, snooping people is illegal, illegal morally, and we have to respect one another and respect their privacy. No government, no school, nobody has the right to be like a big brother, to act as a big brother, to snoop on people, look at their text messages and stuff. As Maria said before, I don't get this part, like, for the text messages and stuff. If the government snoop, of course they're going to snoop on text messages, pictures, and other stuff you contain in your phone. And as furthermore, Pedro said, with the government control, of course, some people might become terrorists because they don't like the way that the government snoops them their control methods. So of course they're gonna turn into terrorists. And if there's no privacy, people are gonna turn into anarchy because privacy is a human right and everybody has to have it. And no one likes whistleblowers, of course, like leaking messages, leaking in other information and stuff. So thank you.
Okay, who won?
No.
Well, what I could do is debates are hard to judge in that way. But what I could do is I could take all of your individual scores, which I'll go back and watch the video and make some more notes. Thank you. First of all,
It's unfair. We got more people in the house.
doesn't mean
It's not unfair because you won.
Oh yeah, check out.
what I would do is I would take all your individual scores and divide them by the number of people on the team.